Rather, it's one of the main objectives is to absorb the energy from the sun, recycle water and other chemicals, further to protect us from high energy radiations as well as the frigid vacuum of space. Uh, it protects and supports the life, and the scientists or geographers are really concerned with first two layers of atmosphere. So whenever we see the system called the earth system, then we have to consider the interrelevance between these spheres. So we will be always looking or keeping the biosphere at the center, and it would be having the interrelationships with the geosphere, hydrosphere, and mesosphere. So the earth system itself is a combination of these spheres. Therefore, if you now look the composition of the year, then it is having nitrogen mainly, and then second most is oxygen, and then there are some other gases which would be the cause of the greenhouse effect, and all these gases you can see in this particular table, which are around very less percent, would be 1. Then we defined the pressure in the atmosphere and how it is related to the density of the gas molecules. So again, in order to compare how much is the actual pressure is being felt with an example, and this is its significance. So which will tell you that it varies smoothly from Earth's surface to the top of the mesosphere. Fine, and then you would be having, as you go up with the altitude, you would be having lesser and lesser the pressure is. For the purpose of measurement, whatever the instrument you are using is usually called as barometer. Initially, it was of mercury type of barometer, but nowadays you have different kinds of barometers uh, which are being employed for the measurement of the pressure. Basically, atmosphere itself is being divided into, or broadly it is being considered of 5 different types: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So by this, we can say that the atmosphere is nothing but the mixture of gases, water vapor, as well as dust particles. Very first layer is troposphere. So it is having different concentration at different positions. So though it is a thinnest layer, again still you can have around 16 kilometers at equator and 8 kilometers at poles. It is termed as the bottom layer of the atmosphere, which stretches about average 13 kilometers, and it is forming about 90% of atmosphere's mass, wherein if you go up with the altitude, you would find the decrease in the temperature. This is the mainly forming the weather conditions and containing around 75% of the year. So next one is again in this 75% of year, you'd be finding mostly N2 and O2. Obviously, naturally, their concentration is large. So randomly, whenever you will consider or whenever you will take a percentage, so you will come across this particular concentration or these particular ingredients. Then how a degree changes with certain height. So it is really very important for the biological activities or the life support is concerned. And now there are separations by a kind of boundaries between these layers. So the boundary between the troposphere and the next layer called stratosphere, which is called as the tropopause. And at this particular boundary, you would find the temperatures which are nearly constant, but having two things around minus 80 degree centigrade over the equator, and it further say decreases to minus 45 degrees centigrade over the poles. Okay. So these were the different things which we considered, and I think this was the last slide through which we have gone. So troposphere in general the atmosphere's layers, and in which you do have troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere. So these kinds of different things. So now next one is the stratosphere, or the next point is nothing but the stratosphere. So as far as this particular layer is concerned, called the stratosphere, you would come across another points which are getting added up to the next layer of atmosphere. So you may treat it as second layer of atmosphere, which is found up to 50 kilometers. It has horizontal air currents. The temperature, if you go up with the altitude in this particular layer, then it increases. This is containing the ozone layer, which is the upper, say, which is in the upper region of this particular layer. Right. So, in fact, ozone layer is being contained by the mesosphere, but no doubt it is being found in upper layer of the stratosphere as well. So I will again let you know with the help of that particular diagram how this is being contained by two layers, upper layer of stratosphere and the mesosphere. This is a layer where most of the jet planes travel, right? So planes are traveling in this particular region. It is forming about 24% of the year. So 75% of the year was formed by the troposphere, and remaining out of remaining 25%, 24% is formed by troposphere. And now you can see initially there had been a statement which is telling that geographers are concerned or mostly concerned by two layers, or they have a great concern about the first two layers called troposphere and stratosphere. Fine. So now you can understand that particular point, why the geographers are concerned only with these two layers than any other layer, because they are forming around 99% of the atmosphere or 99% of the air. And air is nothing but the life support, right? Not only for human beings or the animals, but also to the plants, right? Through N2 and O2. Further, if you consider its extension, which can extend from 10 kilometers to 50 kilometers above the ground. Now see what I said. So in the earlier layer, we considered that it has 16 kilometer and 8 kilometer ranges at equator and poles respectively. Further, we consider that in average, you can find out its existence around 13 kilometer. But now I'm here saying that it starts from 10th of kilometer. Now, if you consider already the average of earlier one is 13 kilometer, and now you are saying that it is starting from 10th of kilometer. So this is why the very first statement I said that don't get completely stick to the numbers, but this will give you an idea, and what you can take from this, you can conclude from these numbers that there is no hard and fast boundaries between these two layers. There would be obviously mixing at these boundaries, but for our simplicity or easiness of understanding, we have considered the boundaries between these layers. फाइन. सो ये तो होता ही रहेगा. उसकी वजह से हम लोग कह सकते हैं कि हाँ चलो ये मतलब हार्ड एंड फास्ट बाउंड्री उसमें बिल्कुल नहीं होगी. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि उसमें बाउंड्री नहीं है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हर कोई लेयर हर किसी दूसरे लेयर के साथ मिला हुआ है, नहीं है. एक्चुअली ये सिर्फ जहाँ पे दो लेयर्स एक साथ आ रहे हैं, बस उसी जगह पर जहां पर कुछ किलोमीटर्स तक इधर उधर हो सकता है, बस उतना ही हम लोगों को समझ लेना है. एज कंपेयर टू ट्रोपोस्फियर इट इज लेस डेंस. और आपने शायद वो एक डायग्राम भी देखा है जहां पर इफ यू गो अप विद द अल्टीट्यूड फ्रॉम द सरफेस ऑफ अर्थ, देन द प्रेशर गेट्स डाउन. उसके पहले ये भी देखा है कि व्हाई प्रेशर वेरीज. तो अर्थ सरफेस के यहाँ पर बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर है. जैसे जैसे आप ऊपर चले जाएंगे वैसे वैसे प्रेशर कम होगा. उसका रीजन क्या है? डेंसिटी ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स कम होती जा रही है. सो if you consider only these two layers, troposphere and stratosphere, then you would understand that yes, it is a less dense as compared to the troposphere. Now its boundary is called as tropopause. But which boundary? Now it would be having two boundaries. The lower boundary, which is called the tropopause, and the upper boundary would be now called as stratopause. So upper boundary is between the stratosphere and the mesosphere. Fine. So above this one, there would be the mesosphere. So already we consider this layer. Now we are considering the stratosphere. So as far as stratosphere is concerned, very first statement I said that related to the ozone. So you can see most of the ozone layer is in the mesosphere, but still it is extended. उसका कुछ हिस्सा आपको स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर में भी दिखा. यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं. सो यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक जो ओजोन लेयर फैला हुआ है, तो ऑब्वियसली ये दोनों भी रीजन आर ऑक्यूपाइंग ओजोन लेयर, और उसकी वजह से हम कहते हैं कि अपर लेयर ऑफ स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर इज बीइंग ऑक्यूपाइड बाय द ओजोन. और ये बात सही भी है. अब ऊपर की बाउंड्री और नीचे ये बाउंड्री, ये दो बाउंड्रीज. सो एज फार एज ये ऊपर वाली बाउंड्री इज कंसर्न, यू कैन से दैट हाँ इधर मीजोस्फीयर है, इधर स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर है. अब मीजोस्फीयर और स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर के बीच की जो बाउंड्री है उसको तो स्ट्रेटोपॉज कहा जाएगा. जैसे पहले से ही हमें मालूम है कि स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर और ट्रोपोस्फीयर के बीच की एक बाउंड्री है, उसको ट्रोपोपॉज कह सकते हैं. उसी हिसाब से इस लेयर को, इस बाउंड्री को जो कि स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर और मेसोस्फीयर के बीच की है, उसे स्ट्रेटोपॉज कहा जाएगा. So these are the two layers which are of greatest concern of geographers. So ये एक reason है कि why these two layers are most concerned or most studied. उसका reason क्या है? It is forming around 75% of year और बचे 25% में से 24% is being formed by this particular layer. और उसकी वजह से ऑल टुगेदर अगर देखेंगे तो ये दोनों लेयर मिलके अराउंड 99% फॉर्म करते हैं. फाइन. सो दिस इज ए पॉइंट which you need to consider. Fine. Now okay, अब हम लोग ओजोन लेयर के सामने ओजोन लेयर के सी as we have come across ozone layer, so I will just give you an idea. No doubt there will be separate slides related to ozone layer. ठीक है, वहां पर हम देखेंगे उसका एक्चुअल क्या कॉज है या फिर what kind of concerns are there related to this particular layer. Now you can consider this particular layer which is nowadays having a kind of hole. So as far as very first incidence of experiencing or finding out the largest hole in the ozone layer which was observed, right, that was in September 2006. So in this particular case, if you consider its actual noticing, so in 1970s, scientists noticed that the ozone layer in the stratosphere above Antarctica was getting thin. So it is thinning, and the reason behind it is the number of chemicals. So if you consider a group of chemicals which is usually known as chlorofluorocarbons, so these were commonly used in the air conditioners, aerosol spray cans, and cleaning machine parts. And now these are being radiated, these are being evaporated in the atmosphere, and they are getting attack on ozone layer and causing damage to the ozone layer. They are reducing the ozone layer day by day with the exposure of CFCs, which is nothing but the chlorofluorocarbons. And therefore, by identifying it as a greatest concern, there had been an agreement which was took place at London in a conference of 1991, which was attended by more than 90 countries, and therefore altogether all these countries unanimously banned एक साथ decision लिया without any hesitation, right? Unanimously these countries have banned the production as well as the use of chlorofluorocarbons to a greatest extent. और सिर्फ कुछ लिमिटेड मेडिकल यूज उसका आज चल रहा है. सो वट एवर द क्लीनिंग ऑफ मशीन का पार्ट्स है वो पूरी तरह से कम कर दिया. एयर कंडीशनर्स में भी जितना कम हो सके उतना, या फिर अगर कुछ अल्टरनेटिव मिलेगा तो वो एरोजेल स्प्रे जो ये कलर पिगमेंट्स और इसमें जो भी है एरोजेल स्प्रे है, तो वहां पे भी उसका यूज बहुत कम. So reduction in the use of the ozone layer is being considered. Now ozone layer की hole का क्या consequence है? So we know that obviously we are here on this planet, and as far as solar system is concerned, you would be having sun. So this is the source of energy for the system. And in between our planet and this particular star, there is the atmosphere. And this atmosphere is having different layers. And its two layers called the stratosphere and mesosphere are containing ozone layer. Now this ozone layer, since the radiations are coming from this star to the earth through ozone layer. So ozone layer is absorbing, you can consider here these two rays. Ozone layer is absorbing the ultraviolet radiations which are harmful to the human life or to the life on the earth. So most of the rays are being uh, absorbed by ozone layer, and very few, very less are reaching to the earth. Fine. So this is the protection, or this is the main task offered by ozone layer. But if you consider, if this will get vanished, then what would happen? So probably the whole ultraviolet rays would be reaching directly to the earth. And you can just see, you can just consider, if we get exposed to such ultraviolet rays, then we would be having a greatest probability of getting affected by the diseases, mostly like cancerous diseases. Right? So that is the consequences, and therefore why we should concern related to ozone layer, right? And still you can have a the largest hole or damage to the ozone layer, which is over the Antarctica continent, you can consider. So whatever may be the ozone layer over the Antarctica continent is having the largest hole. Fine. So if the same situation get happen all over all other continents, then probably it would be a threat to the life. Now, what is the actual cause by chlorofluorocarbons, right? So in relationship with the chlorofluorocarbons and the ozone layer, you can have different thoughts. So it is a layer which absorbs the sun's high energy ultraviolet radiations and protects the earth. So this would be the radiations which are coming from sun. This is a ozone layer. So see, most of the radiations which are being absorbed or reflected back, right? Though very few are reaching to the earth. Now, what will happen if you damage this ozone layer? That means what? If instead of having a layer of O3, if it gets damaged, so how it would be damaging? So the Cl will get oxidized with the ozone, and it will reduce one oxygen, right? Or the number of oxygen molecules, and obviously later on there would be only a layer of air which is containing oxygen instead of ozone. So oxygen is not a hurdle for these kinds of radiations. So oxygen is passing these kinds of radiations. They get transmit through the oxygen. So if the ozone layer is getting reduced or is getting replaced, then you have no choice other than facing or experiencing these ultraviolet radiations. And you know the consequence of getting exposed to the ultraviolet radiations. Fine. So as far as stratosphere is concerned, the chlorofluorocarbons break down and release the chlorine. So breakdown means what? They get formed, they get oxidized with the ozone layer, and it releases chlorine. Itself is related to, or is responsible to cause the acid rain. So acid rain की वजह क्या है? यही तो chemicals है. Those get evaporate in the atmosphere. वहां पर ऑक्सीजन के साथ रिएक्शन करके they get oxidized, get reduced themselves, and get form their pure forms, and which are really get accumulated there only, and then with the clouds they are further coming back to the earth. So हमने भेजा हुआ हमें ही वापस मिल रहा है, बस कुछ वक्त की देरी है. Fine. So this is a point we have to consider. Fine. So it reacts with ozone molecules which normally block the incoming ultraviolet radiation. Right. So this is a the consequence of having ozone layer or and not having ozone layer or damaging that particular layer, right, through the point of view of the ultraviolet radiations. So chlorofluorocarbons and ozone depletion. So CFCs and ozone depletion. So how its relationship is. So here you can consider three different scenarios, right? So in every scenario, the base is same. Obviously, the top is also same. Only thing is that the middle one is going to change. So here what happens? Here ozone is completely protecting, right? ईमानदारी से जो होना चाहिए था वो यहाँ पर होते हुए दिख रहा है. लेकिन जैसे ही हम लोग सेकेंड स्टेज में आएंगे तो हम लोगों को यहाँ पे एक पोस्ट समझ आ रही है कि सीएफसी स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर में जाकर वहां पर जो भी ओजोन लेयर है उसको डिस्ट्रॉय करने का काम ये जो सीएफसीज है उनके द्वारा हो रहा है. तो उसकी वजह से अब अगर ओजोन लेयर डिस्ट्रॉय हो रहा है तो ऊपर से आने वाली ये जो रेडिएशंस है जो ब्लॉक की जा रही है वो सीधा नीचे आएंगी, और this kind of ozone depletion would cause the or would allow these radiations directly to reach, और उसकी वजह से people will get affected, right, or would get caused by cancerous diseases, right, and that is the greatest threat as far as human life is concerned. So ये हो गया information about stratosphere और उसके कुछ physical significances, right, and how they are going to affect our life to a great extent. अब उसके ऊपर का भाग mesosphere, right, which we can call it as third layer of the atmosphere, which found up to 80 kilometers further as like ट्रोपोस्फियर. यहाँ पर अगर आप नीचे से ऊपर जा रहे हैं विथ अल्टीट्यूड तो आपको फिर से एक्सपीरियंस होगा कि यस इसका टेम्परेचर कम हो रहा है. सो टेम्परेचर इज डिक्रीजिंग विथ अल्टीट्यूड. एंड ये जो है एक वन ऑफ द कोल्डेस्ट लेयर्स ऑफ द एटमॉस्फेयर, सबसे ज्यादा कोल्डेस्ट लेयर वी कैन कंसिडर एज द मीजोस्फीयर. उसका रीजन क्या है? टेम्परेचर डिक्रीज हो रहा है. एंड if you consider the phenomena which are happening in this one, right, where most meteors burn up. Meteors, ulkapat. So whatever the meteors we are seeing in the atmosphere, which are mostly happening only in this layer. Right. Again, इसके भी कुछ एडवर्स कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस है, इफेक्ट्स है, राइट. जैसे ओजोन लेयर अगर कम हुआ तो क्या हो सकता है, वैसे मटेरियल्स अगर धरती पर आ गए तो वो जहाँ पे आ जाएंगे वहां का तो सब कुछ जलाकर मतलब खाक कर देंगे. सो दैट इज व्हाट द significance you can consider. So after troposphere and stratosphere, you will having this as the mesosphere. So here you can see that ozone layer is also there, as well as one more layer you can find out in this one, right, or how this ionosphere is extended over mesosphere, which is itself reaching towards even to stratosphere as well. But ओजोन लेयर का जो बड़ा हिस्सा है ये तो मीजोस्फीयर में ही दिखेगा. जैसे मीजोस्फीयर और स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर के बीच की जो बाउंड्री है उसे स्ट्रेटोपॉज कहा जाता है, वैसे ही मीजोस्फीयर और थर्मोस्फीयर के बीच वाली जो बाउंड्री है उसको मीजोपॉज कहा जाएगा. इस लेयर की खासियत है कि आप अगर यहाँ से स्टार्ट करेंगे ऊपर 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 यहाँ तक जाएंगे तो आपको समझ आएगा कि टेम्परेचर कम होते जा रहा है. सो it is one of the coldest layers, right, or the most coldest layer of the atmosphere. Now the next layer, that is thermosphere. अगर अब आप इस लेयर की बात करें तो you will come across a yes, Ritesh, you are right. Shantanu is asking about temperature. So it varies, I would say very high temperature. It varies around above 1400 degrees centigrades. You will find out that temperature in this particular layer which is approaching to 1800 degrees centigrade. So,
डिलीट केले का काय मेसेज आलेले
Aryan, your mic is on. Please off it.
okay, thank you. So the next one is a thermosphere. Now, if you consider this particular layer called thermosphere, right, which is also known as ionosphere, it is nothing but the fourth layer of the atmosphere, which found around 1000 kilometers. This is the hottest layer. And why it is called hottest layer? Because of the presence of H plus and He ions, hydrogen and helium ions, which directly absorbs the radiations radiated by the sun. So because of the presence of these ions, it is hottest layer. That means what? If you go up with the altitude, you would find or you would experience the highest temperature, right? So temperature go on increasing with the altitude. Now the radio waves are being reflected by this particular layer, and which are being considered for satellite communication. So whatever the communication we do have, mobile communication, even videos, audios, TV, right? So for that particular kind of communication through radio waves, this particular layer is important, from which these particular waves are getting reflected back. So this is what you can have as far as thermosphere is concerned, right? So thermosphere greatly absorbed by helium and hydrogen ions, and because of their presence, they are going to absorb the energy. They are going to absorb the most of the radiations radiated by the sun, and as a result of that, the temperature is getting found increased if you start from this point and go up in this direction. Fine. So altogether, this is what you do have related to the first four layers, and whenever you would you would study atmosphere, you would be always having these 4 layers broadly, right? These 4 layers broadly. No doubt, the next layer is also there, which you can consider. Now, as far as uh, a scenario is concerned, so here you do have a thermosphere, here you have exosphere, wherein now see thermosphere and exosphere hardly they cannot they are not being separated, right? As like we try to separate out any of the remaining 4 layers, fine. And in this particular region, how the materials are getting occurred, right? Then how this particular layer is helping out satellite communication, or the radio waves are being reflected back. Because of this only the satellite communication is happening. Suppose satellite is above this particular layer, then the radio waves would not reach to this particular satellite, and obviously you would not have any kind of communication. Whatever we are radiating would get absorbed, right? So that should not happen. Okay. Now, since we have considered the 5th layer as exosphere, so we can consider which begins at around 500 kilometers, right? So earlier I said about this one, it is of 1,000 kilometers, and here now I'm saying 500 kilometers. That means what? Greatly exosphere is part of thermosphere, right? Or thermosphere is widely spread. So exosphere begins at about 500 kilometers above Earth and does not have a specific outer limit. Now the satellites orbit in this particular layer, and therefore as far as communication on Earth by satellite, which is depending on the satellites, right, is being carried out with the help of, or carried out in this particular layer. So it transmits information which is being used for television shows, radio broadcast, data, and photos, whatever weather reports, long distance telephone calls, communication, right? Blah, blah, blah. These are the various kinds of things. Nowadays, we are having satellites for the special purposes as well. So you do see here the station uplinks, and here you will be having the downlinks, right? Wherein direct user end things we are considering, right? Even you talk on cell phone within a same home, so directly you are not getting connected to each to that particular 2 phones. In fact, first it get transmit to the satellite up in the atmosphere and then come back to you. So this is a standard protocol which is always being followed for any kind of satellite communication, and that any kind can be TV shows, radio broadcasts, the data, photos used, weather reports, right, or long distance communication or telephones, right? So these are the different things which we can consider. So in order to summarize the layers of atmosphere just by a single statement related to each. So you would say that this is the lowest layer or the first layer of atmosphere, right, which is where we live, right? So here you can see where we live. Second one is a stratosphere, which contains the ozone layer, right? Or it is occupied, it occupies the say ozone, right? So ozone layer. Third one is the mesosphere, right, where the meteors get burned, and which is the coldest one, right? And someone had asked a question related to temperature. So here you can consider, so the last class of the broad classification of atmosphere is the thermosphere, where satellites orbit, right, the Earth. So which is having a temperature of around 1800 degrees centigrade. You can consider 1800 degrees centigrade. what will happen to the human body in this particular temperature. Now, as we have gone through the different layers of atmosphere, now your task is to know, or your task is to consider the importance of the atmosphere. So what is the importance of the atmosphere? That is also one of the important things to understand. So I said somewhere that it is nothing but the life support. So how it is known as, or how it is called as the life support? So it provides the necessary gases for living things to survive. For example, nitrogen for the plants, oxygen for the animals, for human beings. Fine. So through this point of view, you may consider that it provides necessary gases for living things. Further, it regulates the heat from the sun to just the right temperature for life on the earth. So the temperature on the planet is being regulated by these layers of atmosphere. So altogether, atmosphere is playing a great role in maintaining the temperature on the earth. Further, it plays an important role in the water cycle. The ozone layer protects the earth from the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiations. So that we can, okay, how it is playing an important role of water cycle. So what do you understand in the water cycle? Anybody? How it is playing the crucial role in the in mentioning water cycle? Because see this point, ozone layer protects. So you are convinced that yes, we are saved from sun's ultraviolet radiations by its absorption by ultraviolet by the ozone layer. Likewise, how this is playing a crucial role in water recycle.
Maybe because in the water cycle the droplets go into the cloud and form the atmosphere. Maybe.
Exactly. Water cycle is maintained through the rain, and who is responsible for the rain? So rain is caused by the clouds, and who is creating the clouds? So obviously atmosphere is responsible for the generation or creation of the cloud, because itself is a mixture of three different ingredients called gas molecules, dust particles, which are of hygroscopic nature, and they are accumulating or coagulating the water droplets, or I can say water vapors, and they are forming the cloud. Lastly, it protects earth from meteors as well, right? And not only ultraviolet rays, but also meteors, right? And this is what the importance you can have, or you need to consider. Now here there are two terms. One is related to the green effect, which we have come across in the very first few slides, wherein I had mentioned the some of the gases which are causing the greenhouse effect. And later on somewhere I mentioned about acid rain. So these are the two phenomena. Whenever you consider atmosphere, you need to consider them. They are integrated part of this particular point. So we can consider the acid rain. So this is the scenario of acid rain, right? Nothing more than this, I would say. So we do have a different kinds of pollutions. We are radiating, we are leaving in the atmosphere different kinds of uh, gases as SO2, NOx, NH3, right? And when they go up in the atmosphere, they get reacted chemically with the contents in the atmosphere and form some of the other byproducts. So NH4, Hg, NO3, SO4, so they get formed. That means what? Now you will be finding out the nitrous acid, sulfuric acid, right? So these are nothing but the acid forms. This is acid form, this is acid form, which is because of the chemical reactions of these radiations with the atmosphere. And as a result of that, whatever the clouds are causing a rainfall with them, or with the droplets of the rain, these acid droplets or acid contents are coming back to the earth. So further they are causing damage to the life or the biological diversity, right? Or ecological damage, I may say. They further cause that particular thing. Here you can see the things which are getting burned, right? One of the greatest example I can tell you that around Taj Mahal, no factory is nowadays being run up, right? So no factories around the Taj Mahal, because uh, in a study, right, 20 years back, it was found that these factories radiating some of the gas molecules are going to cause damage to Taj Mahal. So government took a decision and decided to ban the uh, factories around it. Right? So many restrictions are there, and that is why that is what one of the examples you can consider. So what it causes? So acid rain is going to occur whenever the oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, right? So oxides of sulfur and nitrogen are emitted into the atmosphere. They undergo the chemical transformations, chemical reactions, and are absorbed by water droplets in the clouds, right? Absorbed by water droplets in the clouds, and coming back to the they are coming back to the earth by uh, the rain in the form of acid, right? So this is what you are going to have in the acid rain, right? And really it is a great concern. Now some of the effects of the acid rain you may consider. So here is further scenario, right? How it is going to affect the plants, how it is going to affect the water storages, how it is going to affect the different things. So this is causing the acidification of the bodies of water, damages vegetation, damages the building materials or statues, right, etc. So that is a cause of the say acid rain, or consequences of the acid rain. Fine. Now likewise, that further you would come across the greenhouse effect. So what is the greenhouse effect? It is nothing but a trapping of heat. फाइन, ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ हीट की वजह से होने वाली प्रॉब्लम, राइट? लेकिन ये सिर्फ हीट और हीट से ही क्यों हो रहा है, और ऐसा क्या हो रहा है कि हीट इज नॉट गेटिंग रिड्यूस्ड, राइट? सो उसके पीछे भी ये गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स का एक एक वन ऑफ द रीजंस है. सो as far as this effect is concerned, simply you can consider that the trapping of heat by gases in the atmosphere, the trapping of heat by gases in the atmosphere is a point. Now naturally occurring greenhouse gases are there, as well as the man-made gases, right, which are causing the greenhouse effect are also there. So now we are setting off a thought process related to greenhouse effect, no doubt we will consider it in a deeper manner, right? Or greatly, in order to understand what exactly it is. So very first one is naturally occurring greenhouse gases. So who are they? So water molecules or water vapors, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone. So these are the naturally occurring. And second one is the greenhouse gases that are not naturally occurring. So who are they? Hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, perfluorocarbons, PFCs, sulfur hexafluoride, SF6, right? These are being generated in a variety of industrial processes. These are being generated in variety of industrial processes. So this is what the reasons behind the greenhouse effect that we can consider. Fine. And this is a point we need to consider. I will to stop here, because if I move further, then I need to cover the whole point, and I think we are running out of time and it would not get finished. So anything which you would like to ask, or no more?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, as we know, satellites are in exosphere.
Yes.
Sir, so asteroid and meteoroids didn't harm them, or they collide with each other.
Obviously they would be colliding, right? See, it is a natural process, so it is not a kind of thing that they would not get collide, right? So great probability they collide each other, and obviously if get collide, then they have to damage themselves. So you cannot wipe out this probability. This must be happening.
Okay, sir. And
Yes.
sir, till now, is there any place in India where acid rain occurs?
Acid rain?
Yes, sir.
I could not get. Acid rain happens or what?
In India.
हाँ, in India कभी acid rain हुआ है क्या?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. That is the example what I said, right? In 1984, right, there had been a report as far as damage to the Taj Mahal. So एक कमिटी बिछाई थी, तो उसमें एक बात सामने आई कि यस, इट इज गेटिंग अफेक्टेड, राइट? वो थोड़ा काला हो रहा है, फाइन। तो इसकी वजह से क्या है? तो जब उन्होंने वो सैंपल कलेक्ट कर लिए, तो उनको समझ आया कि दीज आर नथिंग बट दी एसिड कंटेंट्स। तो फिर ये एसिड कंटेंट्स आए कहाँ से? इसके ऊपर तो किसी ने फेंके नहीं होंगे, वहां पे किसी का हवाई जहाज तो नहीं गया कि जिसने ऊपर से उस पर डाल दिया। तो अगर ये आया है, तो ये इसका वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट वे कुड बी द रेन। अगर ऐसा है, तो ये कहाँ से आ जाएगा फिर? तो उन्होंने जब ये सब बातें स्टडी कर ली, तो समझ में आया कि हाँ, ये पोल्यूशन की वजह से है। तो उसके आसपास की कई सारी इंडस्ट्रीज बंद कर दी गई। ये अर्लियर देयर हैड बीन सो मेनी फैक्ट्रीज ऑफ ये बूट, चप्पल, जूतों की, उसके इर्द गिर्द बहुत सारी फैक्ट्रीज थी। आज की तारीख में नहीं है। So it has been happened, but we can say that that was very early phase which we could realize. Okay, anything
Okay,
else?
sir. No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, welcome.